Maak ons op, dames en heren, voor de FEI Dressage World Cup hier in Mechelen. Seizoen 2024-2025. It's our pleasure to welcome you to Mechelen of the FEI Dressage World Cup Western European League. 4 leagues make this series truly global and provide athletes from all around the world with an opportunity to qualify for the final, which will be taking place in Basel in April 2025. As one of the most prestigious series on the international dressage calendar, it is with a great anticipation that you watch this season's qualifiers unfold and reveal for when the doors to the final will open. The FEI would like to wish every athlete competing the best of luck. De prijs de Bayan Equestrian Concept Store, de FEI Dressage World Cup, de Grand Prix. Even melden, dames en heren, de juryleden bij E hebben Suzanne Barup uit Denemarken bij H, Olivier Smeets uit België bij C en meteen ook voorzitter Isabel Vessels uit Great Britain bij M, Carlos Lopez uit Portugal en bij B hebben we als rechter de heer Jacques van Dalen.
Well, a very good morning, all. Welcome to Mechelen. Merry Christmas. I hope you've all had a fabulous time. And of course, it's not been that long since the FEI Dressage World Cup was in London. And now we have moved our focus, of course, here to the famous Mechelen. Where else between Christmas and New Year would we be? It is the sixth leg of 11 of the Western European League for 2024 and 2025, nearly at that 2025 mark. In just a few days' time. This fabulous setting, bringing together some of the best in the business, and it's going to be a fascinating Grand Prix today, and of course freestyle tomorrow. And I'll be really interested to see what this league table looks like when we get to the very end, because Bianca is here, Karina is not. But you also have the likes of Larissa Polilis there in 12th, of course, from Belgium. Dorothy Schneider sitting in the top 10 is very much here, and Dina van Leeuwen, who's just outside the top 10 competing as well. I think we could see, with how close things are, a little bit of shuffling. Karina Schultz, of course, sitting on top of the league table and has been having quite a fabulous season. And though her last outing coming in Madrid, now we'll just have to see how this begins to unfold. As I say, those just outside the top 10, I think, could certainly make a move, pushing them up and towards those top 10 places. But there is still a long way to go in the season. And we'll look forward to how it all unfolds over the course of both this Grand Prix, of course, which is just really a precursor to set things up for that freestyle tomorrow. 15 combinations set to come down the centre line in this Grand Prix for the FEI Dressage World Cup. In front of our members of the grand jury. At E, Susan Barrett from Denmark. At H, Olivier Smits from Belgium. At C, the president for the class is Great Britain's Isabel Vessels. At M, from Portugal, Carlos Lopez. And at B, from Belgium, it is Jacques van Daal. Hugely expert panel. There is Isabel sat in the middle, and looking forward to seeing the first go. Riders from Belgium, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Spain, France, and Germany, all involved in this. And here is your lineup. Christine Verbuyn to get things underway in just a moment or so. Big name going early with Hans-Peter Minderhold riding Glock's Tanimio, Geraldine Verwimp, and the beautiful Chamier. And Charlotte Rogerson, Isabel Kool, Dominique Michels, Paris Van Balen from the Netherlands as well, second of the Dutch riders, and Boro Carcosa from Spain. I think we're just about set to get things away in the first group of the day. Justin to kick things off. Lovely young horse as well that we're going to see here, this 8-year-old stallion by Zonic. The Great Zonic, and this is called Zonic Plus, and a Bavarian stallion. Well, here we have Justin starting things off with Zonic Plus, but a solid start across the opening movements. Really lovely cadence. What a beautiful young horse this is. Stepping up here today and really giving us a tremendous start. Just maybe wanted to relax a little bit more in that halt. This is a horse he's been producing through the young horse classes. They won Grand Prix prior to this, saw them score 74.042%. It came in November. Just perhaps wanted to be a little bit steadier in the contact, just to allow the horse to move a little bit more through the top line in the extended walk. Again, just allow that relaxation. Was marching a little bit with the collected walk. Nice transition though. No doubt that they have a beautiful ability in the passage and the piaffe. This is going to be a really strong score right from the off if things continue. Just perhaps wanted to be a little bit straighter through the changes. Just getting a little bit of tension, but that's more than understandable. Just want to watch the balance on the way out of the pirouettes. So impressed with this horse. Beautiful watch. – Again, showing a wonderful natural ability in the Passage and the Piaffe. What a start. And if that is what we've got to look forward to with the future of Zonic Plus, that beautiful 8-year-old by Zonic, or Justine Verbunen, just in there, he has certainly produced a fabulous, fabulous stallion. Well done, Justin. Well done to Zonic Plus. The strength will develop inevitably. That is elegance, and that is potential. I mean, the Passage, a real highlight, and the Piaffe as well. I mean, the elasticity in those movements was so good to watch. It is a real talent for Justin, for Belgium. And he's done a great job producing that sire. Well done, Zonic Plus scores we will look to. Here we go. Wow, what a start that is. So 74.348, already bettering the score of their opening ever Grand Prix test just a couple of weeks ago in Spielbergen. So a fabulous start, and as high as 75.8 there from one judge, but 74.348 sets the standard here in Mechelen for this FEI Grand Prix test. Well, to the experience now in the saddle of Hans-Peter Minderholt, although still relatively young, 9 about to turn 10. This stallion by Glock's Toto Jr. out of a Sandro Hip mare. This is Glock's Teminue. Again, really just stepping up just recently into Grand Prix, where they were also in Spielbergen, scoring 71.065% in that Grand Prix test. And he went out once in Small Tour last year, and then saved this to bring forward, waiting until this stallion is ready. Sadly not as comfortable at the start with that sort of loss of the rhythm after F. You could see how the tension just perhaps creeping in. Of course, that really upset the balance. Perhaps again wanting to see a little bit more from that extended trot. Now the horse just to push from behind. You see how it's just gets a little bit tight in places in the Passage, and that just causes slightly uneven steps, and with the rhythm slightly out of play. That affecting them, I would suggest, throughout the Passage, Piaffe, and the transitional marks. relaxing much more into that second group of piaffe and passage movements. Definitely settled much more into the test. You see Hans riding almost with more confidence as well as this test unfolds. You saw that on the centre line. He was happy just to take that little bit more risk. They wanted the changes there to be a little bit more fluently forward. I believe just the end there, they're just losing that sort of balance slightly and the rhythm again in that final piaffe. But without that, the test certainly got stronger as it unfolded after, again, just perhaps that little bit of tension creeping in at the very beginning. Understandable, it is a horse that's only coming forward in what its third international event. So again, showing it's just a little bit of lack of it, sort of that sort of, I say ringcraft, but it's more that sort of ability to cope maybe with the atmosphere. As quiet as it is here on a Saturday morning, it's not quiet because there's already a lot of people here. Well, Hans Peter Midderhold, Tanny Minio, happy enough. Looking at the way the score was trending, I don't think it'll break the 70% mark. In fact, it's going to be 68.326. The score there for the Dutch start. So Hans Peter going to a total percentage score of 68.326%. Another for Belgium, though, and a lady that will be tremendously popular. She has been such a big part of dressage for Belgium over the years. Of course, rode at the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro back in 2016, having ridden at Europeans And alongside that was massively successful as a youth rider coming through the ranks on the Great Tiamo. This is Sharma, the ride that took her to the World Cup final in 2023 when that final was held in Omaha. We'll see how she gets on today with Sharma. Now 12 years of age, out of a Quattro B mare. That's the best Grand Prix sub-score of 70.043%. And that actually came in Hagen a few years ago now. Just a little bit hurried initially. Get a little bit more impulsion, take a little bit more risk. Don't give the impression that you're hurrying though in the extended trot. The collected walk. Solid transition though into the passage. Just want to see the hind legs just come a little bit more under. Show a little bit more self-carriage and lift. Just a few mistakes creeping into the two-time changes. Again, just wanted to see more ground cover through that extended canter. It's a little bit short to the right. Again, just wanting to see a little bit more fluency coming through the body. Drifting a little bit there to the left in the piaffe. Jurinde Vervimp and Sharma. Combination for Belgium there, just concluding their test in this FEI Grand Prix competition. Tension is always the thing that works against you. It certainly became apparent in the changes. Unfortunately, that will have cost her marks in important areas. There's double coefficients. I mean, there were some lovely, promising moments, certainly some really nice moments, but it's just that underlying tension, I think, that ultimately has created the difficulties and detracted from where the score could perhaps found itself. And then talking of scores, here we go, 67.630. That's 68.478 from two of the judges there. And it's an average of 630. And of course, of the three we've seen so far, that goes into third. So still Justin leading with Zonic Plus. He certainly sets a marker this morning in this 8-year-old Grand Prix World Cup debut. 74.348 is the leading score. Next to go, combination for Switzerland. It's Charlotte Rogerson riding Famora. Famora, 14 years of age, this mare, Dutch mare by Blue Horse Zach, out of an IPS Crack C mare. And the ride that has now taken it to several championships at European level, both in Risenbeck last year and in Hagen in 2021. That's a Grand Prix best of 71.282%. That came in February last year in Le Mans. Their average at Grand Prix level is 67.9. Lovely half passes, really fluent. Watch they don't hurry a little bit too much. I'm not sure you could have asked for a squarer halt, although perhaps, again, just a little bit Could have been a little bit more fluent with the rain back. Certainly want to see more lift, I'm sure, in the Piaffe. Just seem to be lacking a little bit of activity. It's a little bit irregular in that final passage, just lost the rhythm slightly behind. Through the first line of changes. Seems to have really settled in more now with the canter work. Little mistake in that one-time line. Maybe just a little bit too large in terms of the footprint of that first pirouette to the left. Getting nice lift. Just needs to keep the balance. Again, seems to lose the activity a little bit in the Piaffe. Just the regularity of that passage again, just maybe not as good as it could have been in the passage to finish, but well done to Charlotte Rogerson. Riding there with a Femora, a combination for Switzerland. And see where their score comes in a moment. It's all about that regularity, I think, for them. Try to keep those paces as even as possible, certainly highlighted in the collected movements with the passage. But again, it's showing a lot of elegance and presence within the arena. Just needs to develop that self-carriage a little bit more. 10-year-old mare by Blue Horse Zach. Here comes the score. 67.348 is the final mark. 67.348. The judges going over 68%. It was the judges at M&B, sadly, that have pulled them back slightly. But 67.348, say then into fourth place of the tests we've seen at the moment, of which there are 4, and the leading score is 74.348 from Justin and Zonic Plus. Justin Vibuman. What we got next? We have Isabel Cool. Shamir Cool Horses. 11-year-old gelding. Also by Shamir. This is out of an Alabresto mare. A rider with a lot of experience in this sport. Rode as part of Belgium's team with a horse called Aranco, the 5th at the World Games in 2018 and Europeans in 2019. "11 years of age, this gelding. Second outing in the World Cup circuit this year, having competed in Stuttgart back in November. Best in Grand Prix so far as a combination is 68.565. That came in Doha at CHI Al Shakab back in February, right back at the start of this year. The Grand Prix average is 66.5. Been a nice start though. Maybe wants a little bit more bend in those half passes. Using a little bit of the rhythm there, just certainly from the passage. Wanting to see maybe a bit more collection, and certainly in the Piaffe a little bit more self-carriage. Just trying to create a little bit more energy in that previous Piaf, just left them a little bit uneven. And I think they were struggling a little bit for the balance coming through the transitions as well. Nice through those one-time tempi changes. Very well controlled through the first of the pirouettes. Maybe just losing a little bit of that jump, the right way to put it. Just getting a little bit big in the second of the pirouettes. Well, they're certainly trending above average. In fact, they're trending much closer to their PB. 68.565 at the moment. I don't know if they're quite going to reach that, but again, just gets a little bit uneven. And they lose that sort of elasticity in that passage, but finishing strongly. Well done. There were some lovely moments, as is always the case for those two. They're just showing a lot of fluency to it as well. Well done to Isabelle Cool there for Belgium and her Shamir Cool horses. Intention, I think, is the key word to the occasion. You can see that just coming in through the earlier parts of the test, especially. Some real quality within the movements. As I say, the start that will have cost them most dearly in terms of their scores. Hopefully we're about to get a score. That is awfully close to a PB for those two, so that's a really strong mark. For Isabelle Cool and her Shamir Cool horses, 68.457. I mean, that is only 0.1 of a percentage mark off their PB from Doha Doha earlier this year, I should say. So, for the moment, at very least, it puts Isabelle Cool and her Shamir Cool horses up into second place behind Justin Verbumen and Zonic Plus, who lead the way. And it means also, for the moment, it is Belgium first and Belgium second. Well, we're going to stay with Belgium. Dominique Michels riding into Muzio van het Miralhof. 15 years of age now by P.S. Gribaldi. This gelding is out of a Blasflug mare. This is the combination that rode in Paris this year as part of the team, also qualifying through to the games as part of that team. It meant it was their, of course, second Olympic outing, having also competed in Tokyo. It's been a real regular part of teams, World Championships, Europeans over the last 5 years or so. Best result in a Grand Prix test, 72.531. And perhaps unsurprisingly, they took their best score ever in a Grand Prix test in Paris this year at the Olympics. An average in Grand Prix competition for these two of 68.8. Need to make sure that they keep that lovely fluency within the movements. Certainly take a little bit more risk and ask for a bit more push through that extended trot. Allow the power to come from behind. Just a little bit of the balance in the transitions coming out of that PF into the passage. Lovely walk in the extended walk. Again, a little bit more energy, a little bit more activity. Bring a bit more airtime to the passage and the PF. Just not necessarily enough steps. Nice and forward through the extended canter. Very consistent through this part of the test. Again, in the canter work, looking very chilled, very at home. Very methodical. Really well organised. Just, again, maybe wanting to see a little bit more jump through the changes, but again, very accurate in the way they've been ridden. And currently trending towards a score that would get them within 1.5% of this combination's best ever mark in a Grand Prix. Again, very consistent through the pirouettes. Maybe just slightly lost the balance coming into the collected trot, and again, maybe wanting to see a little bit more push from behind in the extended trot. But take nothing away from Dominique Michel Sier and Intermuseo Van Het Merahoff. They're trending at the moment just shy of a full percentage mark, or just at the moment they're just over 1% away from their PB. Very well done indeed, Dominique. Big round of applause, well deserved. Trending about 1.2% away from their PB, which they delivered in Paris as part of the Belgium team this year. I mean, it was such a correctly ridden test. I mean, there were many moments where you just think you could bring even more. Certainly the extended movements. I'm sure even in some of the collective movements of the Passage and the Piaffe, there's, you know, the ability to create a lot more activity there. But overall, really harmonious. And, you know, always delivering that lovely picture. Superbly ridden. And he's got that tremendous connection with that horse, which creates that lovely sort of harmonic look to everything that they do. Well, the wipe will indicate the fact the score is coming. 71.348%. Many congratulations to them both. Goes up into second place, 71.348, which is the second score over 70. Justin Verbumen, I remind you, leads 74.348 on that spectacular 8-year-old that we saw a little earlier called Zonic Plus. 2 to go before we take a little pause in proceedings, because we'll be around about the halfway mark. Margise van Baarle now. First of these two, Habibi DVB NOP. So this 12-year-old by Blue Horse Don Schuffro out of a Johnson TN mare, Dutch warm blood. Has a Grand Prix best of 74.391%. So they would need to replicate or better that to go into the lead right here and now. For this combination, then, that score coming in Aachen in March of last year. Well, she rode last year at the European Championships. Saw them in Stuttgart, didn't we? A few weeks back, where they finished in the top 10, 9th in both freestyle and Grand Prix. They lost the rhythm, sadly, there with that little bit of a sort of interruption. Is that the way to put it? But just looked like the balance was lost, and the end of that line settled again now into the half passes. Just almost looked like they were sort of dragging their back feet a little bit on the way through the rain back. Wanted to see a little bit more lift. And just needs to watch the rhythm, allow the horse to take the weight as well in the PF, and just keep that security in through the transitions. Just like to see a clearer rhythm, and again, more ground cover. It's got a nice frame, but I think you want to see a little bit more over track through the extended walk. Well, we saw the PF just again creating a little bit of resistance, slightly disturbed behind. Of course, that has an impact inevitably on the transition mark, and you see again there just that little issue going into the change into the canter. Sadly, there was a mistake in the counting of the changes in the two-time flying changes. Again, looking a lot more at home. Just needs to watch they don't let those pirouettes just get a little bit too big, and just allow for a little bit more bend. You need to create that lift, let the horse take the weight. Again, you can see that little bit of tension creeping into the PF, and just needs to make sure the passage stays nice and even as they come down towards the finish. Well done. Really well done. Nice to see them here as well. Maries, well done. Maries van Balen, Habibi DVB, NOP. So coming to a conclusion there. As we say congratulations to them and look forward in a moment to the score coming through. But it's a lovely horse. Just today, I think when they look back, they're going to see some really expensive mistakes that will have cost them. You look, that tension that crept into the sort of collected walk where the rhythm just really wasn't clear. You also had, of course, that problem in the PF where again it was tension creeping in and creating that resistance. And again with the changes in the two-time changes, 68.326 is the final score. And Marlies van Balen there going into the top four for the moment, 68.326. So that actually goes into equal fourth. Two Dutch riders with their horses, both Marlies van Balen and Hans-Peter Minderhold, are both tied on 68.326. So in equal fourth place. Still leading though, the star of the show so far, Justin Verbumen and Zonic Plus. Gosh, what a story that would write if that turned out to be the case when we get to the end. We will have to wait and see. We're not there yet. Isabel Vessels there is the president of the grand jury for this FEI Dressage World Cup Grand Prix test. The freestyle, where the points are handed out, will, as I'm sure you're aware, take place here in Mechelen tomorrow. Just having a look if we're running. We are running just a few minutes ahead of ourselves. You can already see plenty of people here for a celebratory day out between Christmas and New Year. We were here yesterday, absolutely packed, buzzing atmosphere. What a place it is in Mechelen, and everybody coming to enjoy themselves. And today, huge day of sport. And of course, not only is the FEI Dressage World Cup here, but also we have the FEI Dressage Driving World Cup round. It'll kick off tomorrow. Monday will bring the final of the driving, but also the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. Add into that the FEI Ponies Trophy, and you have a full house of FEI competition and bringing together all of the disciplines. And in terms of the World Cup competitions, of course, it's a great chance to see them all on the one bill, and knowing that there isn't really anywhere else to be between Christmas and New Year. Still plenty of people arriving as well. Kicked off quite early this morning in relative terms. See, some people like being on the TV, others never so keen. Right, here we go. This is a man that will know what it's like to be on TV. He's been on many occasions down the centre line. Dora Caracosa. Today, though, with a 9-year-old stallion called Fresantino FRH. It's my finest out of a quarterback mare. This is the chance for Spain. His ride in Paris this year. Competed in the Grand Prix test in Paris, scored 70.823%. His Grand Prix best actually came in March of this year, 71.696%. Competed in Stuttgart, where they took a 7th place finish in the freestyle, having finished 8th in the Grand Prix on 69.544. All in all, the average score for these two in a Grand Prix test is 70% exactly. Fresantino FRH for Spain, Dora Caracosa. Really strong start so far. Best start they could have hoped for, really, pushing up towards their best scores. Really consistently ridden as well. Not sure they were not short of a few steps in the Piaffe then, but I might have lost count. I mean, this is a test that is, you can see from the scores, delivering wonderful consistency, as I've said. Lovely fluid canter there. Maybe just wanted to be a little bit more forward in the transitions. Nice fluent changes though. Maybe again, just wanting to show a little bit more risk. I think this has just been a test filled with one of the most consistent tests we've seen. It maybe just lacks that extra little bit of sparkle in places to lift the marks out of that sort of 7.5 bracket that you can see from the way the averages have been coming through will have been roughly where things are. Just again, maybe just losing a little bit of that elasticity, slightly travelling in that final line of transitions through the Passage Pierre Passage, but all round lovely to watch. Well done, Bora Carcosa and Fresatino FRH. The combination there for Spain delivering a really strong outing in this FEI Dressage World Cup Grand Prix. So, lovely combination, really well presented, wasn't it? Nice to watch. Certainly one we got to enjoy. As I say, you look back through that, there's nothing in it you can go, well, that was a mistake, really. Apart from, I'm just not overly convinced I didn't miscount that Piaf when I said I didn't quite know if they'd gone to the 12. But as I say, you'll forgive me if I did miscount that. But either way, just maybe a little bit of tension right at the end. But it was lovely to watch. And Bora Carcosa, I would suggest, is heading up towards second place with that test. In fact, we'll find out, because here comes the score any moment now. Well done. It does indeed. 71.478% for the Spanish star to go into second place ahead of Dominique Michels and Indonesia Van Het Merenhoff, who's just behind them on a score of 71.348. Still leading, though, as we hit the break, Justin Verbumen and Zonic Plus, 74.348% from the 8-year-old stallion on his World Cup debut. What a performance. There are some big names, some wonderful contenders still to come in the second half of the draw here in Mechelen. There's the order as it stands. Justin Verbumen, Zonic Plus lead, 74.348, ahead of Bora Carcosa and Fresatino FRH, and Dominique Michels and Intermezzo. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back in a few moments' time with the second half of this FEI Dressage World Cup Grand Prix. Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying it. It's certainly been a tremendous start to this Grand Prix test in Mechelen, and I'm so impressed with the young horse that leads at the moment with Justin Verbumen and Zonic Plus, 74.348 in only their second ever Grand Prix competition, their first only a month ago in the Netherlands, and now here in Belgium in their first World Cup Grand Prix at 5-star to lead with a stunning start. Bodo Carcosa just before the break sitting in second, and Donny Michels with his Olympic ride. They're in third, 3 over 70% so far. Perhaps not unfair to say, though, that the second half of the draw certainly brings out some of the big names, and that will include the last to go, the lady that sits second in the Western European League. Points for that league table, though, will be given away tomorrow with the freestyle. Here's your lineup through to the finish. See in there, the world number 4. We've had a maze former winner here, Dina Van Liera. Larissa Polilis, there's Bianca at the end on Florine OLD. Dorothy Schneider also here. Potier, Amanda Deriska, and Camille Juday, who will kick things off in just a moment to restart this Grand Prix test. 2 for France, 2 for the Netherlands, 2 for Germany, and 1 for Belgium left to go. Here we are, back in front of the judges once again. Camilla Cherez-Judet, the 12-year-old gelding by Johnson TN. Helia Higgins, out of a IPS Garibaldi mare. Best result in Grand Prix, 71.283%. First time these two together have competed in a 5-star Grand Prix. Just wanted to be a little bit more fluent and equal through the half passes. Need to make sure they stay straight through the PF. Keep the contact nice and steady. shame on that centre line. Just losing that sort of, what's the best way to put it, throughness. And unfortunately, just getting a little bit tight behind, made that mistake in the change. Because in fairness, really, it's been a mistake-free test until that point. A little bit short. Again, perhaps wanting to see a little bit more engagement from behind through that extended trot. Big smiles, and she knows that she should, because that, as I say, was a very well-ridden test and hugely well performed. Well done to Camille Girechere and Helio Higgins there for France, wrapping things up on the restart in this FEI Grand Prix test. We touch and go watching that average, whether they quite get to 70% today, but with a little bit of luck and good judgment, hopefully they will. And some lovely moments in that test. Again, showing a lot of elegance. Very athletic looking horse as well. He just has a little bit of a tendency to get a little bit short, but I think the energy there will have helped carry them up the score table. Oh wow, bang on, 70% exactly to go into the top four. So she will be delighted. Well done to Camille Girechere. Goes into fourth place on Helio Higgins. A lovely 12-year-old Dutch gelding by Johnson TN. Interestingly, this is another 12-year-old Dutch gelding, also by Johnson TN. And this with Dutch rider Devinda de Riska. It is Hero, out of a new or 007 mare. This is a ride, of course, that has been part of a silver medal team performance, that coming in the European Championships in 2021 in Hagen. Was on the team in Risenbeck at the Europeans as well last year. Most recently competing in Stuttgart. They were also with us in Lyon on the World Cup circuit. Their Grand Prix scores very similar in both of those shows, around 67.5, 67.6. Their best ever Grand Prix mark came in August in Crozet, where they scored 72.044%. But their average is 69. Hero. And Devinda de Riska for the Netherlands. to allow the horse to be again just a little bit more fluent. Create a bit more power and push through that extended trot. Seem to sort of break concentration a little bit there in the collected walk. Wanted to maintain that activity a little further. Again, maybe wanting to see a little bit more uphill tendency, create a little bit more forwardness and jump through the one-time changes. Coming down this final centre line to complete what has been a very solid test, I think is the best way to put it. Heading perhaps towards the top four. A combination, on average scoring 69%. I think they're above their average today. They've certainly put in some quality elements to that test, and there's nowhere in there that you can really say anything went wrong. Perhaps in places still needing to create a little bit more impulsion and self-carriage, that ability to sort of take a little bit more weight. Useful, I think, going forward. As I said, it's a test without mistakes. But it's just to try and now push that level further. 70.196% and into the top four for Devender de Riske. There with Hero for the Netherlands, leaving still one more Dutch rider to come. Well, as you can see, we're back with France. Corentin Potier riding Gotilius de Filiard, the 13-year-old gelding, this Dutch gelding by Totelas, out of an Olympic Ferro mare. Olympic ride in Paris this year, World Championship ride 2 years previous. Horse that he has brought through from the young horses to the very top of the sport. This 31-year-old from France. Combinations best score in a Grand Prix test came in Rotterdam this year when they scored 73.674%. You have an average score at Grand Prix of 70.7%. Still that leading score, to remind you, a whopping 74.348 from the first to go. Justin Verbumen and Zonic Plus, the 8-year-old, has certainly made its point today. I think, again, maybe just wanting to see things a little bit more fluent through that rein back. Just travelling a little bit through the Piaf, and I think, again, that will affect their transition mark. Isn't necessarily as clear as you would want to see and defined in the transition. Better through the second part of the second of the Piafs and Passages. Maybe just wanted to be a little bit more on the spot through that. Wanted to open the frame up slightly more through the two-tone changes. Managed the first pirouette very well. Again, working well through the second of the pirouettes. Maybe just became a little bit too big towards the end, just losing that balance slightly coming out. Nice finish, really nice finish as well. Well done. Corentin Potrier and Gartilis Derfrad. The top four could be about to swing round again. A little, that fourth place is like a revolving door at the moment. In fact, I wonder if that will go even higher and push towards the top three. We'll find out in a moment, but lovely. I mean, if it hadn't been for the first Piaf, that would have been a much improved score. I say much. Probably would have added a percentage mark on, but you know, it was such a lovely test. Really beautiful partnership. It developed so well developed coming up through the sport together, really, and such a willing partner. Lovely to watch. Gartilis Derfrad, how high does that go? Here we find out. Into third, well deserved. So 71.413% to go ahead of Dominique Michels and Demisero Van Het Merenhoff. Behind Boro Carcosa. And only by, I mean, let's remind you, Spain's Ora and Frisatino, 71.478. Corentin's score there, we've got Tilla 71.413. Then you've got Dominique on 71.348. It is awfully tight. Where it is not tight is that Justin Bibuman and Zonic Plus, 74.348, are way out in front at the moment. But next to go, we have 1, 2 for Germany. Dorothy Schneider up next. She's riding Dayman, the 12-year-old, by Daily Deal. One of the most experienced in the field, one of the most decorated as well, of course, with medals at every level, including Olympic, European Team Golds. World Team Gold. She had some great horses in her career, perhaps none more so than the likes of Showtime and Fastutus. But Damon, competed in Salzburg the other day. I say the other day, it was a couple of weeks ago, but this is a horse that has scored a best score in Grand Prix is 73.913, and Dorothy will need to better that today to get into the lead of this Grand Prix, again just to indicate the strength of that performance from Justin a little earlier on. Again, exceptionally solid start. I mean, mistake free. Saw a little bit of tension just in a few places. So coming through what is to be a really beautiful passage and piaffe. Lovely walk as well, in that extended walk. Really able to open up the frame. Just maybe wanted to see a little bit more freedom in the shoulders in that collected walk. Very nice through the first of the pirouettes. Well controlled. Maybe just a little bit big in that second pirouette, but still a little early going into the collected trot. Really nice extended trot. Maybe again, even there, could still push a little harder, take a little more risk, but very strong final centre line as well. Pushing their average higher and higher here. You can see that in the score. Whether it's enough, I don't feel it will be to topple the leader, but Dorothy Schneider will be pleased enough. So congratulations on Damon 4. That 12-year-old by Daily Deal. Certainly going to be there or thereabouts with the test they did in Lyon a few weeks ago in the second leg Grand Prix test. And again, it's such a super talented horse and no real mistakes that you can pick out. It's all about just overall energy and self-carriage. If that just improves just a little further, then you can see the marks going up even higher. A really consistent combination there for Germany, and here comes the score. It is, unsurprisingly, perhaps into second, but second 72.870. It's a little bit better than they scored in Lyon, where they actually, showing the quality, ended up down in 7th in the Grand Prix. Today it's good enough to put you up into second, although there are still, what have we got, another 3 to go. It means still we could be in for a huge surprise. I don't think it's worth understating the size of the surprise if Zonic stays in front, Zonic Plus and Justin Vibuman. But the 3 top, perhaps, combinations still to come. And this is without question one of them. It is the turn of Dina van Lierde, riding the great Hermes NOP, the world number 4, with the 12-year-old stallion. Remember that great moment in Rotterdam back in the summertime when they returned to the arena and, of course, came out on top. And what a moment that was, of course. Just missing out on a medal in the summer as well to finish in 4th at those Olympic Games in Paris, showing the absolute quality of this combination. They have a Grand Prix personal best of 79.739%, an averaging Grand Prix of 76.5. And they have won here before. Seems to be a little bit of tension today and just a little bit hurried perhaps in that rein back. wants to allow the movements to come to them. But this is, of course, where we'll see the scores. Very nicely as ever through those piaffe and passages, and I'm sure we'll have scored. Ooh, hang on a moment. I was about to say, I'm sure we'll have scored very well in that part of the test, although just a little bit of a spook there in the extended walk will, of course, count against them. Again, one or two places. I mean, saw it coming through in the transition there. It's just where the tension just bobbles out. You can see the quality that is available today. Again, just there, again, towards the end, you saw it in that two-time change line. Just again, really struggling towards the end of that line as well. Just not listening today is Hermes Tadina. It's really hit their scores. This is certainly going to come as a bit of a surprise to me and to many. push their mark back up as they seem to have settled slightly into the test towards the end here now once more. But that is what they are good at. That is why we know they are such a capable combination. Just again a little bit working against them. She knows today tension has just crept in, and I mean, I would expect them still to come out tomorrow as perhaps the favourites in the freestyle. But are we heading towards a huge story with an 8-year-old stallion winning on their Grand Prix debut at the World Cup event? We'll see. Today, Dina has not had it easy. The biggest cost to them coming, of course, with the zigzag moments down the centre line. But they, their marks will have been all a little bit up and down. Of course, they would have suffered in a few places. But again, it's a combination that have got some brilliant parts to play. And it's a horse in so many ways that's just got no real weakness when it comes to being able to perform the marks. Just today, it was maybe bobbled out. 72.348 is your score. You've seen it, and it is into third. Tina van Lieren goes behind Dorothy Schneider, still leading. First to go, Justin Vibumen and Zonic Plus. 2 to go. 1 for Belgium, 1 for Germany. Fascinating to see what's going to happen here. It really will. I mean, a lot of support for this lady. So there should. So Flambeau. This beautiful 14-year-old by Ampere out of the Zilliot Mare. Part of the Olympics, of course, this summer. Also rode at Riesenbeck and in Tokyo over the last few years at Europeans and at World Championships. She had a tremendous performance when she competed in Stuttgart, and that followed off the back of a very good outing in Lyon, but it was Stuttgart where things really, in so many ways, stepped up yet again. She won one of the other rounds as well this year in Crozet back in September, and she won the freestyle there. Going back to Stuttgart, where she was second in both the Grand Prix and in the freestyle, 73.718% that day in the Grand Prix test. They have a PB in Grand Prix tests of 73.913. That actually came in Lyon when they finished in 4th in the Grand Prix. They're going to need to better it again if they want to push themselves to the very top of this one. 71.2 is their average. Lovely start. So elastic in the way they move. Lovely performance so far from these two. They've maybe just wanted to be a little bit more fluent out of the Piaffe into the Passage, but really bringing their very best to Mechelen. A little bit of loss of the balance in the Piaffe. Beautiful level of consistency. She's getting her scores higher and higher, and it's just a captivating performance. Keep that energy through the pirouette. Lost a little bit of the balance coming out. What a partnership those two are. They are so enjoyable to watch. Really well done to Larissa. She was very happy with today, I would suggest. I mean, it was a beautiful, beautiful test. And I'm just not sure whether, again, it's going to be enough to sneak in front of our young star here today. We will see in a moment. I'm looking forward to finding out. I mean, it is superb quality. Occasionally just, I think there's more to come from the Piaf. But I mean, it's got wonderful natural talent. The scores are nearly with us. Here we go, 73-7-8-3. What a day for Belgium this is turning into, because now first and second with one to go. 73-7-8-3, but Justin still leading on the 8-year-old Zonic Plus with one to go. I mean, this is about to become a huge story, in my view, because the 8-year-old Zonic Plus, in only its second ever Grand Prix test, is still leading with one to go. One and only Grand Prix test, coming in the 3-star in Pilbergen at the end of November, and is today leading in their first 5-star World Cup Grand Prix. But could it all change right here, right now? Because the lady that sits second on the Western European League and will be looking to try and push towards the top again tomorrow goes next in this Grand Prix as the last out down the centre line. Bianca Novaraga-Ollenbrock riding Florine OLD, the 12-year-old by Foundation, out of a Lorries Crusader mare. Now, this is a combination who have a personal best that outscores the leading mark here, I believe, 74.804, the best score. But it is, again, a day where they will need to score big. Their last outing in Stuttgart, their Grand Prix score took them to third on 73.282, after also seeing them in Herning. Their average at Grand Prix is 71.8. They are the last to go. Florino LD, Bianca Novak-Ollenbrock. Really nice start. Just wanted to be a little bit more direct out of the rein back and into the trot. Just perhaps a little bit hurried in the extended trot. We'd like to just see a little bit more stretching in the extended walk. The collected walk, again, just a bit more freedom in the shoulders. I'll settle things. And you can just see a little bit of resistance and tension. Just wants to keep the shoulders there in front. Well, they're now going to be able to come back after the mistakes, of course, in the changes that we saw, but doing everything they can now to try to recover some level of confidence, I would suggest, and calm. It's only going to be one of those days where I can absolutely guarantee there is no way of reading from today's result into the freestyle tomorrow. It always gives you a guide, but it'll never tell you exactly what is going to happen. Very, very well done in the recovery of what was a difficult moment, especially. We saw the earlier moment, of course, but it was really that moment in the changes that will have cost them most dear. They struggled a bit with the early Piaf and that transition moving as well, but what a shame. Bianca Navraga-Lambrock, who sits second at the Western European League, and I'm sure will be a strong contender tomorrow in the freestyle. Of course, as we just await confirmation of their score before we talk about the story of the day, and what a story that has come out of Mechelen in this Grand Prix test. Here is the score for Bianca. 69.130 on Florine OLD to finish in 10th place. Which means the winner of the FEI World Cup Grand Prix in their first 5-star in only their second Grand Prix test together. It goes to the 8-year-old, to be 9, yes, but the 8-year-old from Belgium, Justin de Boomen's ride, Zonic Plus. Wow, 74.348. What a story this is, to see this young horse debut at World Cup level. Only one Grand Prix outing, that came in Pilbergen a month ago, and then look what they've gone and done today. 74.348. What great news for Belgium, for dressage, for their team going in to next year. Larissa Pulilis taking second, Dorothy Schneider in third, and perhaps the shock of the day as well, coming with Dina van Liere, missing out on a top 3 finish with Hermes NOP. There is so much quality here. I was impressed with Fritz Satino and Bora Caracosa, as I was with Corentin Potier and Gortilas de Frulard. We've seen some lovely tests, some difficult moments which are always there to overcome. It's part of the sport, of course. But we've seen some excellence, and I'm so pleased to see that young ride of Justin's come out on top. They were the first to go. Can't remember the first one winning a Grand Prix for quite some time. Presentations will, of course, be heading our way in a moment, and the freestyle will be here tomorrow. Well, there's a little bit of a demonstration going on, which will, of course, take us into the presentation very shortly. We'll leave you with this, let you enjoy it live here, and then we'll bring you to the presentation just as soon as this concludes.
We laten u rustig genieten van deze 4 jong en veelbelovende talenten. Jonge hengsten natuurlijk van 2024, of beter gezegd 4-5 jaar in 2024. Jong en veelbelovende talenten. Valencio Obsession, Santiago de Chili en Sunnyboy van de Kempenhoeve. Jong en veelbelovende dressuurhengsten. En deze groep, dames en heren, wordt daarom ook op verschillende momenten gedurende het jaar begeleid door een team van experten, waarbij ook de medewerking en inbreng van de eigen trainer wordt gestimuleerd. En al sinds het begin hebben we zo deelnemers aan het WK kunnen voorbereiden. En dat blijkt ook het hoofddoel voor 2025. Het wereldkampioenschap die telkens plaats heeft in Almelo was ook zo in Nederland dus in 2024. Toch even meegeven dat zwarte hengst is het nummer 3 is Special Agent Amour Mal Layout. En dan kijkt u naar Santiago de Chili. Lili Jorissen nu in het midden van de ring met het nummer 3. De eerste, en dan hebben we het over Valencio met het nummer 1, is slechts 3 jaar oud. Dus dat belooft natuurlijk een schitterende carrière te worden. Deze Valencio op 3 jaar oud. Kijk eens aan, het nummer 1 is dat. Nummer 1 dus Valencio, afstamming van Raconman Dayano. Het nummer 2 is Obsession, een afstamming van Dreamboy en United. Eigendom van EV Stables ERP Nederland. Het nummer 3, Lili Jorissen, die brengt dus Santiago de Chili mee. Een afstamming van Special Agent Amour Mal Layout. De hengsthouder Lili en Philippe Jorissen, de fokker Paul van der Bos en Philippe Jorissen. En met het nummer 4, vierde hengst, dat u inmiddels ook kunt bekijken. Sunnyboy van de Kempenhoeve met in het zadel Nicky Peters. Dat was alvast de presentatie van deze 4 jong en veelbelovende talenten, de hengsten. En zo dadelijk gaan we dan rustig overschakelen naar de merries. Zij gaan ons zo dadelijk verlaten, dames en heren, deze 4 hengsten. Maar geef toch eens een daverend applaus aan deze jong en veelbelovend talenten. Want zij zijn de verervers van morgen, dames en heren. Deze 4 prachtige exemplaren, 4 prachtige hengsten verlaten de ring. En zo dadelijk wordt zij gevolgd door de 4 merries. En in de ring verschijnt dan ook meteen de 4 merries. De 4 merries die wij tonen uit de groep, niet de minste. 4 merries, deze werden geselecteerd voor de deelname aan het wereldkampioenschap in Hermelo in Nederland 2024. Het waren dit jaar dus de merries die de selecties binnenhaalden. Kijk eens aan wat prachtige merries. Ik stel ze dan ook meteen graag even aan jullie voor, dames en heren. Want voorop het nummer 5. Het nummer 5 is Tsaar van de Wolfshoeven, bereden door Dominique van der Horst. Een afstamming van Romanov en Danone. Gefokt op de stal Wolfshoeven. Zijn eigen fokproduct van Dominique van der Horst en Brecht Doren. En al zeer succesvol als 4-jarige. En dus dit jaar ook deelnemer aan het wereldkampioenschap in Hermelo in Nederland. Dominique van der Horst is Nederlands Amazone die samen met Brecht Doren haar eigen stal runt. Dat dus voor het nummer 5. Tsaar van de Wolfshoeven. Het nummer 6, die gaat nu voorbij jullie komen. En het nummer 6 is Sousa, beter gezegd Sousa. En in het zadel Katrien Verreet. Katrien Verreet met Sousa, een afstamming van Furstenbal Balamos Biolet. Gefokt bij Deborah Proost. Sousa heeft nog weinig wedstrijden gelopen, maar was dit jaar wel goed voor een topprestatie in de openingsproef van het WK. Bekende Belgische Grand Prix Amazone die ook met de jonge paarden succesvol is. Deze Deborah Proost. Katrien Verreet natuurlijk met Sousa, het nummer 6. Met het nummer 7... Nummer 7 is Romina van het Kolisbos. Romina van het Kolisbos en in het zadel Pieter Voets. Romina is een afstamming van Glamour, helemaal Camus. Gefokt bij Stefan Voets. Het is een eigen fokproduct van de familie Voets. Finalist op het Belgisch kampioenschap met 80% in de selectieproeven. Semi-prof die naast het paardrijden nog zijn eigen bedrijf runt. Pieter Voets. En Romina van het Kolisbos. En last but not least met het nummer 8. Het nummer 8, le numero 8. Dit is Rianta van de Kempenhoeve. Rianta van de Kempenhoeve, bereden door Amber Heidenbuchel. Het is een afstamming van Indian Rock en Quarterback. Indian Rock en Quarterback, dus afstamming van Riante van de Kempenhoeve. Belgisch kampioen in 2021 als 4-jarige. En nadien elk jaar in de selectie van het wereldkampioenschap. Amazone die ook zeer succesvol is in het westernrijden. Is Amber Heidenbuchel. En we laten u rustig genieten van deze 4 prachtexemplaren. En nogmaals meegeven, dames en heren, dat deze 4 merries die werden geselecteerd, alle 4 voor de deelname aan het wereldkampioenschap in Hermelo in Nederland in 2024. Het waren dit jaar dus de merries die de selecties binnenhaalden. Dus we laten u nu rustig nog wat genieten van deze 4 prachtige merries. Zij verlaten ons, dames en heren. Geef ze toch maar een uittredend applaus. Hartelijk dank natuurlijk voor deze presentatie van deze prachtige merries. Die alle 4 hebben deelgenomen aan het wereldkampioenschap in Hermelo in 2024. Dank u, tot ziens en succes alvast.
It is presentation time for the FEI Dressage World Cup Grand Prix test, and returning in 8th place for their lap of honour for the Netherlands is Devinda Dritska and Hero, 70.196%. Their score here in the Grand Prix. Congratulations to them both. Well, it's been a historic day for Belgium. We'll certainly celebrate that in due course, but I think congratulations and a huge appreciation to Dominic Michels and Intermiseo Van Het Mellerhoff, finishing 7th on 71.348. Finishing in 6th place, the best from France today, Corentin Potier and Gautilus de Fouillard. It was awfully tight in that pack, 71.413%. Bora Corsa and Presentino FRH, the Spanish star, impressed us all, 71.478% to finish here in 5th. Watch out for these two tomorrow because they will come back strong. It is in 4th, Tina Van Lera and Hermes NOP. Today, 72.348. The Dutch stars the world before. No doubt will still remain favourite going in to the freestyle here tomorrow morning. which will, of course, leave us the top three to come and join us. And as I said, it is a historic day here, and a day where a new star, in my view, has just come to the fore in the world of international dressage. Leading the line, your winner of the FEI Dressage World Cup Grand Prix test. It is Justin Vibuman and Zonic Plus, the 8-year-old stallion by Zonic. Second, Larissa Polilis and the Great Fambleau, giving us a historic Belgium 1 and 2 in the Grand Prix test. And Dorothy Schneider for Germany with Dayman 4 taking third. Funny feeling that we might want to get used to seeing Zonic at the front of the lineup. Quite brilliant today. What a combination they made. I mean, the passage was at points just amazing. Here is the national anthem. A combination that just 2 years ago we saw at the World Young Horse Championships in Mechelen in the 6-year-old final, where they finished in 6th. Then been hiding away until they made their Grand Prix debut. And that coming just, a month ago, when they competed in Pilbergen and won the Grand Prix there on 74.042. They've upped their game today, 74.348. What a bright future. Tomorrow will be their first ever Grand Prix freestyle. Isabel Vessels, the president of the grand jury, I'm sure hugely impressed. I mean, it's not, and you have to give full credit, of course. Zonic Plus, a fabulous talent, but so well ridden by Justin. Larissa Polilis to take second, and the magnificent Flambeau. Her horses just always seem to get better. Flambeau is turning into being a superstar. And finishing in third, Dorothy Schneider, bringing all of that experience and medal-winning quality with Damon 4 today to take third. Lovely little electric bike going, of course, to the winner alongside that prize winning amount of euros. Looking forward with a lot of excitement. I think, as I've said at the start of today, there will be some movement in the Western European League's overall league table after tomorrow. We've got a few sitting just shy of the top 10 that I think will score well and push themselves up into the mix. But what can Zonic Plus do in his freestyle debut tomorrow? Well, in his second Grand Prix test, his first at 5-star level, he's kept his 100% win rate. And his level and scores just keep going up. The year may be coming to an end, but the career is just starting. And what a career that looks to be for Zonic Plus and Justin Verboemen from Belgium. Winners of the Grand Prix. Look forward to the freestyle tomorrow. It's all going to be with you live on FEI TV. I hope you can stay and join us for that. Don't forget, we've got driving, we've got jumping, we've got ponies. We've got it all between Christmas and New Year. Live with you here in Mechelen. We'll keep you right up to pace. Well done again to Zonic and to Justin. Zonic Plus, winner of the Grand Prix, back again tomorrow.